Of course, it's been a couple of months since we've met due to Thanksgiving and the winter break. So I'm very glad you all could be with us today. Have a few good things to cover, so might as well get started. It being the first meeting of the year, I do want to declare new year, new us. We're ever so slightly retooling this user group. We've rechristened it. It's now the Land and Support user group as opposed to Concierge and Land. We will have a new host representing the support team starting with us at next month's meeting. Izzy's also going to be back, though he is out today. So I'm afraid you're stuck just with me. I hope you can handle. I won't bite much. Indeed, Sarah, I agree. I should also add, of course, love is in the air. Valentine's Day is soon upon us. Valentine's Shop and Hop event for this year will be opening on the 3rd of January. It'll run through the 18th of February. Expect a lot more announcements for Valentine's coming up for the season. We'll probably have all the usual things that you know. Maybe a few new things. We'll see. And this being the first meeting after a rather long break, there's a lot to catch up on since last time. For one, I assume you all saw the big Madpy gift that we put out under everyone's virtual tree, so forth. We helped arrange for 6 months of free. Past this year. Hey, Jeans. We also released our character designer last month. It was a collaboration with Convey. The goal is to allow you to kind of quickly create characters for role play or community building or other uses using Convey's narrative design system. We did a limited Premium Plus Alpha test last month. It went fairly well, although there was a hiccup with the characters being perhaps a bit too chatty that caused us to temporarily pause it for some retooling, make it a little bit better. If you're interested in that and how that all works, give you a link to all that information. And then another big addition, and I might have Keen's talk to this a little bit as well. Yeah, Sarah. But we launched Project Zero. Anyone tried that? You know what that is before I go into it? I know at least one person here knows about it, so yeah. Project Zero is basically, it's Second Life without having to use a browser or use a viewer. It's all done via your web browser. This helps with folks who may be having issues with current viewer or want a faster experience. Takes a lot of the processing work off of your computer. If you do want to check that out, I would recommend visiting 0.secondlife.com. Probably don't want to do it right now because you might get kicked off online when you log into the other viewer, but check that out at your leisure. I do also want to make sure to note this is not meant to replace the desktop or the mobile viewer. Those are very much supported. This is in addition to those viewers. I feel it's worth noting that the mobile viewer also has its access fully expanded now to include viewers at all account levels. Work's currently ongoing to further improve performance on the desktop viewer and assisting with third-party viewers. You can read a bit more about Project Zero also on the blog at that link. Gaines, did you want to add anything on that?
Nope. That kind of hits all the points in Viewerland right now.
Okay. For those who may not know, Gaines Linden, is it Gaines or Jeans? I'm never sure.
It's Gaines.
Is it GIF or GIF?
GIF.
Gaines, thank you. Is a member of our viewer, part of our viewer team, so he can be here to make sure I don't say anything wrong about the viewers. It's a very popular question, Sassy. We won't even get into the color of our dresses or anything, so. Another change that's going on in fact, we're doing these now, we introduced some improvements to financial and billing systems in partnership with Tilia. Should help modernize the billing system a bit. Compared to what we have had, you're going to see better Tilia wallet integration, more tools on the dashboard, better payout experience, some improvements to security and compliance. These are all being rolled out right now with the hope of having it fully completed by the end of the month. There are additional features planned in the future as well. You can read more about them, including some screenshots of what it all looks like. Right there. Hopefully, Doll. I know that Skrill, unfortunately, is going to be going away. But we are looking at other options to try to, get more out there because that's a little limiting, and we understand that. So PayPal is still part of it, and we're working on more. Yeah, I can understand, Doll. I know that there's a lot of people who've relied on it, so we're working to see what we can do on that. Oh, I should have also mentioned we did update the community page. It's where all the blogs and forums, including all those links I've been throwing out there, exist at community.secondlife.com. It's mostly cosmetic, reflects better the overall look and feel of our web properties. It does streamline some of our content and make it a little bit easier to locate. And also, we've added a new kind of Second Life event calendar in here with things like this very meeting in it. Should make that a little bit easier to find what's going on. And yes, of course, there is, in fact, a blog about the blog right there. Adam, all I know is that was done over my head. That's a shame, sir. I like green. Any questions on any of this, by the way? I'm kind of going on and I want to make sure, give you all a chance to jump in here or anything else that may be on your mind. Yeah, nimble. I mean, we did try it as sort of a limited kind of alpha actually test. Um, we've had a couple of them around as well. They'll be coming back as well um, once we iron out some of the issues that it was having, as typical. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth taking a peek at when you can. I know it's something I want to get back in and play with some more too. Thanks for noting that, Sassy. Sarah, one of the biggest ones was that once you set it up with group chats that would be to the character, that it would end up participating in group chats and carrying on there, and that wasn't exactly the best. A bit like it. We didn't want that to be that much of an issue. So, yeah, exactly. Any other questions or comments on any of this so far? Or anything else that may be on your mind today? All right. Well, I don't have any updates on that, but I know that's something that both has been looked at for some time and is definitely being looked at right now. I think there's a lot of possibilities, not only with multi-partnering, but maybe like larger, or different forms of partnership could be put on there. So we'll see. So one thing I wanted to also bring up, and this was a little near dear to my heart, is we have been doing some updates on the mainland, some repair work, and we also, for one, there's a brand new road that's been constructed. You'll find it around Pyrie and Brithis. Let me type Brithis out here. Yeah, we wanted to set that one up. We've actually got a couple of other places we're looking at for expanding our roadways right now. Um, that are on all the servers that we use. Because all of our servers are actually the same at this point. That's a good question. I don't know if there's any plans in the works on them, Illy. But I'll inquire and see what I can find out. I do know that one, yes. I don't have anything new on it, but I do know that that's slowly in process. There's a couple other places we're kind of working on with that. I know that we've also reclaimed some land. Where is that? I want to say it's over near Mavericks or um, off below Noyo. That there's a couple of places we've reclaimed down there as well. Pompanillo area for a possible roadway into Nova Albion Base C area. Yeah, I do know about that, Sarah. Yes, Holocluck. So it's a slow process, and sometimes when it comes to setting up new roadways and making sure that you have the land for it and then building it. So we're trying to add to a little bit. Adam, I would also add, because I know that you know this one, we also did add a res zone along the bridle path in the atoll. There was kind of a rough spot up there that was causing some problems. Yes. I wasn't going to say it out loud, but yes, that was your alt. But there was a spot there that, was reported for having some issues. Yeah, Route 6. So that's been sorted. Also, and this is one I've been particularly involved with lately, we've done a number of refurbishments right around Chalet Linden in Wingen. All 3 ski lifts are back in full operation now. For the first time in many years, one of the 3 was missing entirely, and the other 2 weren't operating correctly. One of them was missing some of its guy wires, and neither of them were resing gondolas. Yeah, in the snowlands. So those are all back up and running. We've also added some of the ski animation resers on the top of the mountain at Togenburg. Those have been restored. I'm working on them for the other mountain top to get the skis back up there. Couple small fixes on the chalet itself. There were some issues with the doors that are now fixed. Things like that. Just trying to get that area a little bit more in shape. Might also be doing something similar with the old Team Grid copies of those same chairlifts down in Shasta and Rainier. We'll see how that goes.
I have a question. Hi.
Yeah.
I was wondering, why is abandoned land not automated?
Because it isn't. That's the quickest and easy answer, but that's not entirely full. Sometimes when abandoned land is abandoned, much like what was already said, there could be cases where it's a parcel that we want to reclaim for some reason, like a roadway or something like that. It can be that, there are different things that are, considered for a parcel as far as location, size, etc., or we might want to make adjustments on that. Sometimes it might be put direct sale. Sometimes it might go straight to an auction. There may be people that live next door to an abandoned parcel that they would like it. So we usually will try to give them some preference on that if possible. So there's a lot of...
Sorry, I don't mean exactly like as in when it's abandoned, it's automatically automated, just resell it. I sort of just mean when you've checked all the boxes, then making it the ability for people to just grab it. Like, I had to put a ticket in yesterday, but that might be next week when it comes through. But you've already checked the boxes because it's been abandoned for a while, so it sort of seemed interesting why that couldn't be just automated. I understand exactly what you're saying. I agree with all those points, but if it's at a point where there's none of those concerns, would there be a way for you to just go, okay, this one can just stay as it is and doesn't need to help anybody out or whatever, let's just put it out there so that nobody's time is sucked up having to.
I suppose it's possible.
Tickets.
Yeah. I know that one thing that we have been doing, maybe it relates to this, is that we have been kind of quietly, when a parcel does, I guess, tick those boxes, where we're going ahead and just setting that land for sale, for direct sale to anyone. Because we want to make sure people can get the land, and that can be easier than having to file a ticket. So we are doing some of that, but no, it's a good point.
Okay, that's awesome, because it frees people up for the important sort of measures. I have one more question. I'm really sorry. I put this ticket in on the 1st of January, and I really wasn't going to worry about it until after the land I want to purchase is done, because they're two separate things. But I realized I could ask now. I was part of the Genesis region. You probably remember Sashi Vixen, whatever. She ended up abandoning the grandfathered region. My store, Whimsy's, Winks and Flair, and Adam and Eve are still showing up in search. And it's been nearly 2 years.
That's search as opposed to like destination guide. That's specifically in search.
It's in search places.
Okay.
So it looks like our stores. Mine's the only one that it looks like I have no traffic, and also I'm not teleportable. But the island doesn't exist. Hasn't existed for 2 years. So I've got a ticket for that.
On that?
Yeah. 1st of January it was put in. I'm not. It was the holidays. I'm not that fussed. But it's just sort of an ugly. It's not ugly. You know what I mean? It sort of means if you're searching for us, the wrong reports come up. So if that can be looked into.
Well, once someone gets that ticket, and I do apologize, there has been a backlog, like you said, holidays and such, but that can be easily taken care of by us, because we can remove that from search. Just remove
it's a weird one. I've never seen that before. Like, I know many regions that have gone. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't even notice it until the holidays sort of thing. So.
I was gonna. I saw a note. I think it was Sarah who asked about roads from Belisarius, that kind of thing. I know that's being explored. We'll see where that might happen or when, but I don't have any specifics on it. But I know that has been looked into. Roads or rail from Belisarius to elsewhere. I know there's also been talk about more airstrip availability over there as well. There are, I guess I should mention, there's also additional Linden homes that are in process, including upcoming new styles. There's not much more I can share at this time on those, save that some of the upcoming themes include a tiki/water kind of theme, and also an alpine style theme, which will also mean snow. There's also, of course, some of the existing styles that are being prepared for release. So, there's a lot going on there. And, of course, if you're looking to get a Linden home of your very own, check out the Linden Home Selector. If you don't already have one. Of course, Premium Plus can also ticket for a specific location. You'll probably deal with me then. You can also preview all the various styles of Linden homes at the Belly demo region. Go through those, and you can try all the different styles and so forth.
Is there ever any? Sorry, me again.
Okay.
Is there any chance that you'll ever consider creating like community areas in Belisarius where we don't want to actually have commercial properties as such, but the idea that somebody could put in a tender and do something like create a cafe, create a post office. I know some people sacrifice their houses that way, but it'd be so nice if you could saunter down from your home to a little open air market and things like that. And I know it would be decorative only, really, but if the community could actually put in a tender to do it, kind of like a Leah for Linden homes. Sort of an arty installation, but that's sort of like, small town Gilmore Girls or something like that. It would be, yeah, I think it would be darling. The photo opportunities, feeling that ability to every Saturday we go down to the cafe that's at Belisaria Point, whatever region name.
I like that idea. I know that we did discuss something like that, gosh, very early in the Belisaria homes. I think we were still working on the traditionals at that point, the first designs. That's still very much something that there is an interest in, both on your end and also on ours. So I'm not going to say, I tend to say, never say never on these things, but I think that has a possibility.
It'd be really like, meet your neighbor. And I know you do things at Belisaria, and I think they're wonderful, the hunts for Halloween and things like that. But I just love the idea. When I used to have my own region, we all used to meet up on the weekend mornings and pretend we were doing coffee and stuff like that. Coffee is gross. I understand whoever said they don't drink coffee. but yeah, it just feels more, like you're connecting with each other, and even if it's just catching up on the week as communities and stuff, it'd be kind of really nice. And I think that with all those people that did sacrifice their Linden homes, they were kind of saying that's what they want. They want that sort of feeling.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Let's see. I don't want to make sure I miss too many other. Holocluck, you raised your hand. You should actually be able to, if you're in a vehicle, you should be able to get past the object entry. But if it's not doing that, please let us know specific places, and one of us will take a look. Either myself or someone will take a look on that. That's worth checking on, Holocluck. Thank you. Sarah, Alpine is in fact being worked on. Both the first and second choice were looked into. And Patrick, I saw a hand as well. And yeah, I'd love to take a look at that Holocluck. At least I can find out if there's anything we can do to mitigate that for pods for other vehicles.
Still need to untie groups to land usage. It's really not fair, because sometimes you need 3 groups for one piece of land.
At least
all
3.
regions should get three groups. If you own a region, put this in, Wendy. If you own a region, it should come with 3 groups. Yeah, for events and things like that, Holocluck, you actually sometimes need one for them to be able to res items, one for them to be able to communicate and things, and it all ends up a thing.
Sort of like having the birthday group that people who are setting things up have versus the birthday group that's announcements.
Right.
Simon, what do you how do you mean?
Yeah, because you've got all these Linden hams in that area that seem overcrowded. Is there going to be anything like this area in the future?
Never say never.
Okay.
There might be. I really couldn't say for sure.
Okay.
going to continue to be vague on that, Sarah. It's still very much being looked at. There are still lots of people that are using the old homes and love them, and we don't want to take away things that people are enjoying, because what's the point in that? I think that we will eventually take some of them down or do something with it, but if people are enjoying them, it's hard to say no. Yeah, absolutely. Cape Ekim would be that, Sarah. There's a couple of really neat places that are, I don't want to say hidden around Nescara, but are of note, kind of in between some of the themed areas. Cape Ekin is definitely one that's near and dear.
Actually saw an interesting life hack that I think is really bad. You know how some mainland you can actually change the parcels, right? Like the older regions, if you own a big parcel, you can chop it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday when jumping around, we saw this huge space of open land and then 2 squares right in the middle of it, which looked like they at one point owned all of the land, made 2 parcels, then abandoned the land, so now nobody will ever want that land because there's 2 squares in the middle of it.
We have ways of dealing with that.
So dodgy.
Yeah. I won't say much more, but we have ways of dealing with that.
Okay, good. Because that's just, I mean, kudos to the brainwave that came up with that, but...
Any other questions, thoughts on everyone's mind? I've also got a question for all y'all, but we'll get there. Because there might be something added there in the future, Sarah. Dun, dun, dun.
It's a man, a library, and a candlestick or something.
It's a dessert topping and a floor wax.
Ew. Are we still talking about GIFs? Because in my country, Jif is a floor cleaner, and in yours, it's peanut butter.
Yep.
But we did that at the last meeting, and then the whole thing went off on food.
It always goes off into food. It's one of our big things. I'm not sure exactly how we would do that, Hello Cluck, but I know that bots are a tender subject, if you will.
The what do you call that thing? The character creation thing caused some upsets there because so many regions have bots not allowed now because of all the bot craze with the Bonnie bots and stuff. So then when they were trying to log in, not realizing that their region was no bots, their AI ended up in a hub.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was certainly, we did see some issues with that with the release of those, particularly because the Belisario regions do not allow for scripted agents. And in some cases, people set their own accounts as self-identified scripted agents, and that became a challenge for them to be able to go home. So I would note that that's something you can easily fix when that comes up, simply by going to your account dashboard and unchecking the button that says that you're a bot or a scripted agent. Patrick, you have a question? We have done some things about them. We may well do things about them in the future, but I'm not governance, so I really can't speak to that. So I wanted to put this out here. We did the promotion the gift at Christmas regarding Mad Pete and gave Mad Pete gifts. I am curious, is there anything else out there that's similar to that y'all are really into that maybe we should think about something like that in the future? Illy, if you did not see it, we did a promotion started in December where you can use all of the MadP Unlimited features for 6 months. In fact, let me get you the link to read up on that if you wish to.
Have plenty of time.
Yep. I know that we have done vehicles in the past as some of our premium gifts, but who knows? Maybe we do talk with a large boat designer and see about something with them. Who knows?
Everybody an extra 100 prims. Land impact. Everybody.
Oh, we all.
You get 100
everybody.
prims. You get 100 prims.
Do I look like Oprah?
But I mean, hey.
No, I hear you. There's never enough prims. There absolutely never is.
Oh, there's so many now. Like, I remember, having a skybox in 2006 and having to decide between a bed and a sofa. Like, that was it. 117 prims, that was all you got. Bed or sofa. And if you dropped, I once got banned from a region for dropping an earring. I was like griefing the region because suddenly it had too many prims that were owned by me. I just dropped an earring.
Yeah, but back in the day, I don't know how this might date me a little bit, but I always think about, gosh, back in the day when people were prim banking. That was kind of before the way we have it set up now, where you have a specific amount of prims per parcel. This was well back. This was 2003, 2004, where the prim count was the region rather than individual parcels. So you could, if you had a parcel on a region, you could put all the prims on a region on your single parcel. Nobody else could res anything.
Oh, that's evil.
Yeah, very different now, of course. We have it, per parcel, but
what I'd like with land is that if you're trying to sink land into the water or something, like the edges, those edges, if you gave us an extra, meter around the whole outside for that option so that it didn't actually ruin the region, that might be nice.
Yeah, that's a thought. Yeah, I know that's been I don't want to say sensitive subject. Like it's not really sensitive, but we have had some of the premium gifts, particularly early on, that were a bit higher LI than most people really could spend. Yeah, I'm thinking of the dirigible that we did. That was quite big. But yeah, I agree.
Is there ever going to be an option to have what Linden homes are at Bellis area? Like the landscaping and everything is just amazing, but without the home?
Probably not, but never say never. Always want to put that out there. But a lot of the idea with Linden homes is that Linden homes have a home on them, um, as opposed to being just a parcel put in your own home.
Well, I still mean like the fences and the shrubs and all of that would be there, post box, the beautiful roads and all of that. But some people might just want that land allotment to make, a Zen garden somewhere, or a farm garden. My friend, her Linden home something was wrong with the script, so her home didn't res. And while she waited, she put an Airstream out, little tent, and a little billy can fire. And the mole that turned up to fix the script was like so impressed. He was like, he took pictures and put them on the forum at one point. This was like when it first started, and it's sort of like, I can understand still having a covenant, and I can understand still having rules, but I feel like even just as a test, one region that allows that, and see how it goes. See if people can be better, because Mainland, the mess that is Mainland is because there was no row, like, do you know what I mean? There wasn't the beauty already there that you didn't want to uglify. It was just land.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to say never, but I know that we have done in the past some themed areas, Nautilus City, Bay City, Nova Albion, which have done fairly well, similar to how you're talking. And also the Holoclick brought up Horizons, which also has resible homes and also the possibility of a blank. So it's possible. We'll have to take a look at it. Evangeline, yes, likely. That has been looked into pretty much, along the lines of what you're talking about. We have looked at setting up different areas for that. Nothing I can really get too far into, but yeah, that is a concern.
Why aren't they being directed to the Belly hub? Not the Welcome hub, but the Belly one, because that one's beautiful and it never gets used.
I'm honestly not sure, but I'll have to talk with the mobile team on that.
Because that would be a perfect use for that, because it's just deserted all the time now, and yet it's more beautiful than the Welcome hub.
We've got about 15 minutes left. If there's any other questions or thoughts, how about is there anything you've seen recently in Second Life that really kind of excited you or is really cool that a Linden like myself might want to check out? I don't want to check those out. Oh, very nice.
Restrictions, Bella? been quite a big topic with Philip lately too, is the age restrictions, people getting kicked off land but not knowing why because they're new.
Shamood, no hint, at least not from me. Still very much in work. Yes, it's that's still very much being looked at. There were some concerns about that we were still looking at. Um, I know there was also some back and forth on canny versus a ticket on that, which apologies on that. Sarah, abuse report, please. I want to make sure to point that out because, um, for better or worse, I'm not in governance. Probably for better, actually. So, yeah, abuse report it when you see it. Let us know. Uh, the more it's seen, the more that'll probably get attention. Sassy, you're not alone in that curiosity.
Just want to know all the things. Text did such a great job, him and his team. It's amazing.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested to see how many people like Project Zero who currently don't have any interest in using a PBR viewer.
Correct, Carla. For now. I know that when I first, personal thing, when I first tried Project Zero myself, just as a long time Second Life user, I found that just extremely exciting to just be able to be in Second Life in a web browser, and was very excited with how responsive it was and so forth. Just really cool.
Yeah, it's like up to 20 years. It's like, oh my god, I'm glad I stayed.
Yeah,
Not that
it's
I
a
was
bit
ever
like
leaving, but yeah.
yeah, it was a bit like when I first got to use the mobile client, and being able to see my avatar on my phone. Was just, this is mind blowing.
The in-browser app, Deb, or are you talking the mobile app?
Both. I was talking about the
No,
the browser
Deb.
first. Oh, right.
Deb says it messes up her AV.
Mm.
So that sounds more like a mobile viewer option, not a browser-based thing, because people have had issues with mobile and their avatars.
Yeah, I know
No,
that's
what it is, it's the viewer. I don't use mobile on my phone for this. When I tried to download it and I brought my avatar in, her body looked off, but it was on. One side you look at my face, I look like a robot. The other side, I look like it's just not there. And if you look at me dead on in the face, it's just black. It's like a big black hole. And nothing reses in correctly at all. It takes forever. So I had to go back to the original version. I mean, Grant, everybody's having trouble with their voices when they TP and all, but I couldn't even get the music to retoggle or even come in on the homeland. So I'm having issues trying to take it, so I had to go back to the older version. It's not that I don't want to use it, it's just that for some reason I can't use it and I don't know why.
Deb, are you referring to like Project Zero, that, or are you talking about with the desktop client?
The desktop client, the new update for Firestorm.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I don't understand, because I really would like to have the experiences of the new one, but for some odd reason, I can't use it. I mean, you look at your avatar and she looks like a robot, or she just black hole in her face.
Assuming that you actually don't have an avatar that's a robot with a black hole in its face, this is Second Life. But I'm sorry, I couldn't help.
I don't. I know. I understand.
But yeah, I would. Yeah, I would suggest maybe trying that. Of course, also trying the official viewer. I know people don't necessarily like to use that, but I would give that a try as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and certainly, if it's a first load in, you just put the new client on, and you're seeing that it could be things haven't loaded into your cache, they haven't fully rezzed in yet. Might be worth logging into a quiet region. We'll often send people to the region Pooley.
Okay.
To try that.
Our land is pretty quiet.
Yeah. I hear
But
you.
I'll try.
But it could
I'll
be,
try
but
for
it could
you.
be
It
a
could be
case of a
something
lot of,
else.
yeah,
Yes. Because
quiet
I
or
do
not, it
have
could have a lot of
animals.
textures or heavy mesh objects or moving critters, this kind of thing. Um,
Okay.
all of
Well,
these things need to be loaded into your system at the same time. So
okay, I'll try that. Thank
yeah,
you.
give it a shot.
Okay,
I've had to
thank
do that
you.
myself. So
Okay, thank
Definitely
you.
try Project
sure.
Zero though, Deb, because you're the perfect user case. If you're having so much problem with the desktop version, try Project Zero, so 0.secondlife.com, in your browser, not a download, and just see if you can get in and see if you can see PVR and everything like that, because you are the best guinea pig.
I agree, Key. I know that we have to look at PBR usage and wind light and the ground textures themselves is going to be a monumental task when it comes to mainland. Um, and right now, not everyone can see them anyway, so we really don't want to push it too hard. So we want to make sure people are enjoying their experience. But I'm very excited about that myself.
It should be somebody's job. Get a mole on it to go along every road on mainland and find all those corners that are for sale that are triangles and reclaim them and put some pot plants there.
I was musing just the other day thinking of Legacy Skies, and I was remembering things we just had MLK on Monday of way, way back when we used to change the sun and moon textures for the holidays. That was pre-Wind Light.
I remember that the only setting you could use for pictures was sunset,
Yep.
because you didn't have all the weird angles on your faces and everything, and then face lights came along. But yeah, sunset, that was it. That's all we had. Yeah, that was a good day. It's still just a horror show. I think. Am I wrong, Wendy, that a lot of mainland's problem comes from? I'm just making this up. It's an assumption. A lot of mainland's problem comes from the fact that a lot of original SLers got land as part of their being founding members, and so they've just done something of 2003 looking things and then just never logged back in.
I suppose in some parts of the mainland, you could probably make a good case for that, but there's a lot of mainland that came long after that.
I loved the land grabs.
Yeah, maybe if you're talking about, the color regions or the San Francisco region, some of that, but I think once you move further and further away from that, that's less likely.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But I remember the gold rush kind of, they're letting some land go, and if you had your 512, it only cost 512 to grab it, and everybody would run, and then some land baron would offer them like 1,000 lindens to sell them the 512, and they would, not knowing that meant they just lost their 512 lindens thing. Soon. You're the first soon I've seen this year. I've been to like 4 meetings already. Yours is the first soon.
First post. Well, it's right about that time, unfortunately, so we are going to have to head out. But thanks for coming. We'll see you next month. Hopefully, I'll have a couple more folks to my sides here with our new host coming in, and also with Izzy back. Thanks all. Glad you could all come. We'll see you next time. Enjoy all.
Take care, everyone.